What's up? You look good, you feel good, you play good, right?
What, and then if you play good, what they do? They pay good.
They pay good.
It said, look good, feel good, play good, you pay good.
He gets Coach Mike Holmgren's car. Now, just think about this for a second, guys. The second vehicle I cleaned was Mike Holmgren. I already told you that I don't even know how to really clean cars. Remember, the 2013 team, Deion Sanders called the wide receivers pedestrian.
I don't know. That's just what pedestrian, average, mediocre receivers do. What's up? What's up, my man Deion Sanders? We all right, huh? We all right? We gonna go into the Super Bowl again, being all right.
Okay?
I remember that.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to stats for Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Whatever happened, it's on me. It ain't never on you. And you got to get the ball, so I got to find you. All right? Come on.
You're listening to the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. I'm Sammy, and with me, as always, is my older brother, George.
Your favorite place to be a fan of Seattle sports. Now let's get this party started.
Tito, are you ready? Are you ready? You ready?
So my journey is like everybody else's, you know what I mean? 20 years ago, 2003 to be exact, I had this idea that I would go around and clean people's cars. And so the problem is I didn't know how to clean cars. So I had to go and I had to go work for a place for like 6 weeks. Shout out to Chester Dorsey. I worked for Chester Dorsey's Auto Salon on 23rd and Madison. That's where I learned how to kind of car detail. The goal is to learn so I can get out there and do it. And got out there, was going around trying to clean cars, and I was only charging like 10, 15 bucks because let's be real, I wasn't good at it. So I was cleaning this lady's car one time, and when I was done, she said, "Oh, you seem like such a nice young man. You know what you should do? You should go to Kirkland, and you should go out there, and that's where the Seattle Seahawks practice, and you should see if you can clean their vehicles." And I thought, come on, I ain't doing that. I ain't going out there. What they gonna do? They gonna tell me no. Plus, secret, just want to let everybody know this. You're hearing it now.
Yep.
I really wasn't good at cleaning cars. So there's no way in the world that this pro place is going to allow me to clean cars. Long story short, I got the courage to go out there. I showed up to Northwest College. That's where the Seahawks used to practice at. And there was a guy, the equipment manager, Eric Kennedy, was driving by. And I'm like, "Hey, can I clean your vehicle for free to show you what I can do?" He lets me clean his vehicle. After I clean the vehicle, he gets Coach Mike Holmgren's car. Now, just think about this for a second, guys.
Yeah.
The second vehicle I cleaned was Mike Holmgren's. I already told you that I don't even know how to really clean cars. I'm not even really that good. I've only been cleaning cars for less than 2 months, and I'm cleaning Mike Holmgren's car. So I clean it, and they tell me to come back the next day.
And then what happened after that? Like who was next? Was it just like an array of players? Then all of a sudden, just everyone, basically, you're cleaning everyone's car after that?
So I come back the next day, and the next person is a defensive tackle by the name of Norman Hand.
All right.
Norman Hand lets me clean his vehicles, and he had clothes all over the place. And what I ended up doing is I folded all of his clothes that was in his car nice and neat. So when he came out to the vehicle, it was clean and all of his clothes were organized. And he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna need you to do my wife's car," and so on and so on. And I kept coming back. And then of course, that year, Lofa Tatupu was a rookie.
Yep.
Marcus Trufant was a rookie. Seneca Wallace was a rookie. And Norman Hand, appreciate you. May he rest in peace. He passed away in 2010, but the rest is history. Yeah, the rest was history, man. I cleaned vehicles there for almost 12 years, man.
12 years. And then, I mean, you said this story is just like everyone else's. This is not like anyone else's story. I don't know how anyone else has a story where they started off, cleaning cars, basically now one of the prominent sports talk figures in the city. So what happened after that? Like, where did you go from there to actually getting, to start talking sports for a living?
Yeah, I think that you spend all that time behind the scenes and you start seeing the best in the world, right?
Right.
I was so honored and
Oh, all right.
you good?
I think I'm good. I don't know. My thing keeps turning off and on. I don't know what's going on with the internet. I think we're good.
All right, cool. So
G, just real quick, the funny thing is he's right over here too. So
We're brothers.
we're brothers and we live with each other. So I'm like, where is he at? Should I go knock on his door?
yeah. So let me just say this, and I want to put it into perspective for people when you're talking about NFL players.
Right.
First, the United States of America has 390-something million people.
Mm-hmm.
The world has 8 billion people. Only 1,500 people in the world currently play this game. So I just want you guys to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
When fans and people are calling athletes trash and people are calling them terrible, right? So my point to telling you, and I had to give you context, is to be around that 3-4 days a week, all during the week, 2003, 4, 5, 2006, 2007, seeing different regimes, seeing Pete Carroll when he first get there, seeing rookies when they get there, seeing the evolution of them continue to get better and better and better at their craft, right? So sometimes you don't realize that you are actually being a student of something special, right? Like to see everybody talk about the 2013 Super Bowl team, right? Now, I got to tell you guys, when it was happening, I couldn't imagine that team would be as good as it became, right?
Right.
You're just living in the moment every single day. Now, my life is predicated on what I saw on a daily basis, right? The grind, the effort, the energy, the being on time, the every single day, relentless, right? So I credit my success to the championship culture in which I saw and was around, right? Like literally every single day, I saw the Marshawn's, the Cams, the Earls, the Cliff Avrils, the Mike Bennett's, the KJ Wrights. I'm talking about arguably maybe the greatest defense of all time. If they win Super Bowl 49, there's no question. So I just wanted to say, like, that propelled me and helped me out in my journey.
You're absolutely right there. You had a inside view of what it took not only to be a professional NFL player, not only to become a team that was growing and getting better, not only a team that won a Super Bowl, but like you said, maybe the best defense of all time. And you had an inside view of that. So, I mean, how many individuals have something like that unless they're part of the team or part of the organization directly?
No one.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Like for example, I had no idea that I would get in media. I had no idea that this was my life. Let me tell you what I was excited about. Let me tell you. I was excited, and I used to think that because I cleaned that vehicle so well, that guy had a really good game. Right? I prided myself off of working so hard to do my part, right? That's the thing about championships and championship culture. Everybody, you do your job, right? And so I wasn't running a football. I wasn't passing a football. I wasn't kicking a football. I wasn't defending a touchdown. I was cleaning cars. And damn it, I took pride in that on a daily basis. So my job was to clean the vehicles the best I could and give them their keys and let them do their thing. That was my thing. Years later, all of this other stuff, this shit is bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bonus. And seeing how they were, not just at the facility, but I would also be with these guys away from the facility, right? Seeing how that they would do things. I'll never forget the Cam Chancellors, the Richard Shermans, and all those guys. So years previous on Friday nights, home game, right? That's kind of you go kick it, you go hang out, go have a good time.
Yeah.
Then you go to practice on Saturday morning. Then they go to the hotel, and then they got the game on Sunday. But I started to see these guys like, nah, we're not kicking it on Friday. We gonna stay in and do the right thing. And I was like, oh,
they're not messing around. Yeah.
Yo,
they're different.
It was different, man.
Yep. You know, you said something here a second ago, and I kind of want to go back to that. And it's like it was either Michael Irvin or Deion Sanders, I think, once said, "You look good, you look good, you feel good, you play good," right? And you're
and then if you play good, what they do? They pay good.
They pay good.
Exactly. Yeah. But you say about you felt like you contributed to the success with washing the cars and cleaning the cars and keeping the cars clean. But you did. Because when they were really like, have you ever got into a cluttered car? I'm sure you have. You feel like a mess, right? You go to work, you got McDonald's leftovers on the floor. You might have a little bit. You don't feel good while you're going to work. But if you go to work and you feel clean and you feel good,
come on,
man, you're going to have a good ass day.
Come on. Yeah. You're 100% right, man.
And yeah, so you did contribute. Not only did you feel like you contribute, you did contribute big time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I had family and friends that thought I was crazy, right? like, oh man, he's just a car wash guy. But again, this is why, like, when you talk about a Seattle Seahawks team being successful, right? And you talk about a Pete Carroll and John Schneider regime of being successful. Remember this, just because you have good players and just because you have good coaches, that doesn't mean that you're always going to win. Because the one story that I want to tell is that it takes an entire building, the Virginia Mason Athletic Center, right? The third floor, the second floor, all of the people that work in that building that makes that place go. So that means custodians, that means the equipment staff, that means Heather in accounting, that means, and by the way, when I give names, I give real names. But anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, shout out to Heather in accounting.
Shout out Heather.
Right? Like I don't give phony names. But anyways, when it comes to that, I always want to tell the story of it takes an entire building. That's why the Seahawks have been so successful, because of everyone in that building, and players and coaches will tell you that.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to add something to what you're saying, or kind of agree with you in the same ways. It's interesting because you did say when you're in that, not many people get that environment, right? To be a part of something where you get to see like championship excellence or greatness. Now, everybody talks about in life, whatever you do, try to do it the best, right? But I think for you, it's like at another level, because you're not I don't know, you're trying to do your best, but it's not for like a small mission, or like you had like a vision of, I'm trying to be part of helping somebody win a Super Bowl and like be a contributor to this. Do you feel like before you ever did anything with the Seahawks or anything like that, did you feel a difference between trying to give your 100% effort when it was something that wasn't as competitive as like NFL football, or as much with people that are trying to win a championship? Did that make a difference? I know you were always going 100%, but did you feel extra motivation?
Sure. You know, man, my whole life, I've been trying, right? And I got to tell you, a lot of times you lose, man. A lot of times things don't go like you thought that they would go. There's probably somebody listening right now, right? And you're working hard towards something, and one or two things happens. Either you quit, which a lot of people do, they quit before they find out, and you can never win if you quit. But sometimes you just lose, man. But realistically, the old saying, you don't lose, you actually just learn, right?
Yep.
And I think that for me, all of the different things that I did previous, what was I doing previous to cleaning cars? Well, I did door to door sales, right? So I had this idea that I would be the best door to door salesman in the country. And I would be able to train others to do that so I can build my team all over the West Coast starting that way and then go another way. But guess what? After years, I failed. Right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't get to the promised land of where I wanted to go.
Yeah, it's pretty. I like what you said. It's not about losing. Like, I didn't fail or just lose. You also learn, because you're not going to win at everything. And I think that's another thing around football players. You were talking about there's only 1,000 some players. They got to deal with that almost every week, right? You lose a game. Nobody outside of the Dolphins in whatever it was, the 80s or 70s, has gone undefeated. Like, football is a good lesson too of you're not going to win every week, and you have to learn to kind of get over it. I think I watched your recent episode with KJ Wright, and he was talking about in football, you got to you lost, move on. You can't think about it, and it's hard maybe for like a fan. It's hard for us who love watching people win and watching ourselves win and different things. But in life, sometimes you got to just take the punches and roll with it.
Hey, can we hit the timeout? But one timeout. Yeah. Hey, man, that's KJ. I don't know what he's a player. I'm a fan. That be hurting when they lose. I don't care.
Me too.
It takes me a while to get over that. So I don't want y'all to get it twisted. I be in my feelings when the Seahawks lose. All right, just want to make sure that's clear.
That's very clear. And here's the thing, which maybe the players do understand, but they don't quite understand. We wait all year from September to January, and then this is not baseball where we wake up the next morning and there's another game at 7 p.m. We got to wait another week after a loss to come back and watch again. If they lose 2 weeks in a row, then all of a sudden you feel like the sky's falling. So it ain't fair.
And wait a minute. Hold on. And I hope that there's some players that's watching this, because here's something else I want to tell y'all about what we fans go through. Y'all don't have to understand. Look, I know y'all put in the hard work, but we got to get on social media and we got to go at it with Niners fans. We got to go at it with Cowboys fans. Yeah. We got to go at it with our uncle who wants to talk all that stuff, or our auntie who just became a fan of the Miami Dolphins yesterday. I'm sick and tired of it. So we try our best to fight against all this stuff until y'all play again, right?
Yeah.
Until y'all play again, because right now, luckily the Niners lost, because we would have been really going at the Niner fans over last week.
Right. If they think Fred Warner's scary, wait until you meet a Twitter keyboard warrior at the San Francisco 49ers.
Man, I love it. I feel you though. We are. It ruins my Sunday. So I agree with you. It actually does. Last week we usually do our post game podcast every Sunday night. This Sunday we waited till Monday morning. I was like, I can't do it right now. I can't. I'm pissed off. I thought we had it. We were on the 5-yard line multiple times. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
I got to ask you one thing. Before I want to talk some more, get into the Seahawks stuff, get into the season, some multiple things. But I want to ask, because I cut out for a second, and I'm worried maybe a recording could have cut out for a second. I lost you at one moment is when you showed up at Northwest University in Kirkland. And I don't know how you got that. I missed like 30 seconds of like how you got to somebody saying yes to you washing the car. I want to get to that.
The equipment manager, Aaron Kennedy, right? Now check this out. So I'm there. It's like 5:30 in the morning. It's Kirkland, Washington. Let me spell that out just in case people don't hear that at home. It's 5:30 in the morning, and there's a black man standing outside with a beat up van asking to clean cars. Come on, huh?
In Kirkland.
In Kirkland, right? And 20 years ago. So what I'm saying is if Eric Kennedy says no, what's my life today?
We'll never know.
You never know.
You'll never know. Never know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy though. Yeah, it's a good story on betting on yourself though.
You got
Take
it.
a risk.
It's tough. So I do want to mention a little bit of this past week and this season in general.
Mm-hmm.
I know you saw it on Twitter. One of our first questions is how crazy is the Geno should be benched for Drew Lock talk on Twitter all week.
Oh man.
I mean, look, man, have I said some ridiculous things? Bobby and I, because Bobby has given me a hard time, years ago on his second contract, I said Bobby Wagner wasn't worth $10 million a season. Right? Like we say dumb things sometimes, right? And we get emotional, and sports makes us emotional. And when you see Seahawks Twitter and they're getting on there and they're going ham and upset about one loss, how would you rather have it? Would you rather have it where Seahawks Twitter is okay with a loss, like, oh, don't worry, we'll get it next time, oh, shucks? Or do you want them passionate? And I think the players, Seahawks fans, everybody, man, you can't have it both ways. You either have passionate fans or you have fans that don't care, right? So when you see the bench Geno and you see the play Bobo over DK and you see all those things, or you see fire Pete Carroll. Right?
My favorite one.
That's the one I can't get over.
Bless their hearts. Now, I just want to know, you guys tell me, do people erase their tweets? Like after, like the people that was screaming fire Pete Carroll, did they erase those? Or do they keep them up?
I think they keep them up, but they tweet the people who are tweeting fire Pete Carroll, right? These are individuals who, God bless their souls, are probably listening to this podcast right now and they're probably screaming at us, we need to fire Pete Carroll after losing in Cincinnati. But these people, God bless them, they're not just tweeting fire Pete Carroll. They're probably sending out 500 tweets a week complaining about Pete Carroll, DK's penalties, John Schneider drafting JSN too early, maybe, which I don't think so. So that tweet of fire Pete Carroll gets buried. And if you want to go find it, go scroll for 20 minutes, man. And have at it. I think that's what happens.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a lot of different takes that are just buried into the other takes. And at the end of the day, you're right. There's a good part of being passionate, right? Because we look at Philly fans, for example, right? In all sports, Philly fans are even watching baseball playoffs. I've never seen baseball game look as crazy as the Philly baseball games in my life. Like, I love baseball and I've never seen anything like that. But they're also kind of crazy, right? Like, if something bad happens, they're firing a coach. They fired their Super Bowl winning head coach, Doug Peterson, after like 2 years after winning a Super Bowl. Because maybe the organization, that's a little crazy, but I'm saying the fans are that, passionate and they're that into it. And there's some blessing to that is Seahawks have a really good fan base in terms of passionateness, right? Like in terms of we really care. Like you said, a loss really sucks. Like I'm pissed off all Sunday. Right. We all care a lot. And it's part of the beauty of Seahawks fans as well, even though we all say stupid shit.
Yeah, but I want to add one thing to that, but it also holds the organization accountable, right? If we had fans who were just so okay with, if we went 5-12, or like the Seattle Mariner fans who were applauding 2 years ago after all of a sudden, I'm sorry, but they were saying 2 years ago, oh, we got to give these guys a round of applause because they overachieved and missed the playoffs. No, you got to hold your organizations accountable as fans, so you can actually get a good product on the field, because a lot of organizations are ran like a business. And truth be told, if a business makes a lot of money and doesn't have to spend so much money on the other end, most business owners would be like, all right, I'll take that. So I think it's good to hold the organization accountable more than the players. It's more for the organization.
Yeah, you guys, I agree with you. I can't even disagree with you.
Yeah, that's the way it is. So you're plugged in, right? You're in the media. You know how people feel. At the end of the day, do the players? Do you think they hear this stuff? Like when do they see that Gino needs to be benched on Twitter this week, or do you think a lot of them just stay out of
Hmm. Hell yeah, they see it.
it?
Yeah, they see it. And wait. If they don't see it, their mama and them see it,
Yeah.
the daddy see it, the cousins see it, back home at the crib, they see it. And if they don't see it themselves, they get yo, man, this is what they saying, right? Like,
Yep.
look, this is 2023, right? Most people see it, right? Most people. Let me ask you this. Do they see it when they post their game day drip and the clothes and what they wear? Do,
Yep.
do,
Yeah.
do they see it when somebody puts a great highlight about them on there?
Yep.
Do they see it when one of the folks say that they're rumored to be a deal being done and they're going to make some money? So yes, they see it. Now, how they choose to respond to it is, however, I always go with the formula, right? E plus R equals O. E plus R equals O. Events happen in all of our lives. My life, your life, everybody that's listening's life. You can't control events that happens, right? However, you can control how you respond. And how you respond to each event that happens in your life, that will equal the outcome. Period. So Geno Smith had not his best game against Cincinnati. I'd say, in my opinion, probably one of his worst games as a Seahawk. I think
Yep.
even he would agree with that, right? Now, he's back. The team's back in Lumen Field this Sunday. They have an opportunity to respond. On Sunday evening, we will see the outcome. On Monday, we will see the outcome based on the response. So that's just simple, man. So whether they hear the noise, whether they don't hear the noise, you got to push forward regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. E plus R equals O needs to be a T-shirt, man. That sounds good.
I like that
Yeah,
one.
man.
I didn't know where it was going at the beginning, to be honest with you. I didn't know when you said the abbreviation. I had no idea, but I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good life motto.
Yeah, but going
Go
into
ahead.
Sunday, I mean, what do you think it will be the response? I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of people here listening are big Seahawks fans. They're probably like, this all sounds dandy, but is the Seahawks team going to come out and, kick some Cardinals' ass or not?
They have to,
Yeah.
right? Like a Super Bowl contender, a playoff contender, a contender to win the NFC West, a team to compete with the Niners and the Rams in this division. And of course, this is a division game, right? Yeah, the expectations here. Let's
Yeah.
not even sugarcoat it, right? The expectation is at Lumen Field, right? Everybody better come with their A game. The players, the coaches, and Week 12 is going to be in attendance in that house, right? Like,
Right.
it's got to be a job to do. They're coming in. They don't have their starting quarterback. They're missing Buda Baker. They got all kinds of things going on. It's the Arizona Cardinals. It is a game that the Seahawks should win. Now, we all know it's the NFL, baby. And anything can happen in the NFL any given Sunday. But I do expect them to win. And to be honest with you, I think Geno Smith is going to go off on Sunday.
Same
I
here.
think he's going to go off. And I think, matter of fact, just in case, I'm going to go ahead and call it right now. I think Jackson Smith-Njigba has his breakout game this Sunday. It is happening right now. He feels good. One of the things, and of course, I see and talk to Jackson all the time.
Yeah.
And the best thing about Jackson is he's chasing wins, baby. Right?
Yeah.
Like, this whole like the stats, hear me out. The stats are for we fans. But technically, we don't really care about the stats. We really care about the wins, right? So in the playoff run with the 2013 Super Bowl team, how many yards passing a game did Russell Wilson average? Now, I don't expect you to answer that. I don't expect anybody listening to know that.
I expect them to all know it's probably not that much.
Low 200s? Is it low 200s?
I know the answer. I'll let you guys figure it out. But here's my point. Here's my point. Does it matter?
Not at all.
No. So everybody that's on this, oh my goodness, Jackson Smith-Njigba, the Seahawks are 3-2.
Yeah.
That is period point blank. And as long as Jackson, which he does, understands win football games, everything else takes care of itself. Don't press. Don't worry about the stats. The stats will be there. Win football games. The team that has the most selfless players on the field this season will win the Super Bowl. It's not going to be the team that makes you happy with your fantasy. It's not going to be. That's not the team that's going to win it all. The team that wins it all is going to be the team that's out there just getting busy, going crazy. Remember, the 2013 team, Deion Sanders called the wide receivers pedestrian. Okay?
I remember that.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to stats for Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, and I one thing I love about him that it seems like you can tell he is a team guy is because despite a slow start, and like you said, everyone probably hears people on Twitter like how he hasn't had a big game yet. Jake Bobo caught a touchdown before him, all these things. But you can tell every single game he's getting better. So it's not like you can tell he's not letting it get to him. He's not worried about just stats. He's just going out and getting better every single week. And he's a rookie. He's a young guy in this NFL. And like you said, probably just cares about winning games. And if the ball starts coming to him, he's clearly making plays when it does. And I feel the same way. I feel like we were like this close away from a breakout game coming from him. And it's going to happen.
Yeah, he got targeted a lot last game. Sorry, G, but he got targeted a lot last game. Like you could tell he was all of a sudden part of the game plan. So I think that's just going to continue to build on top of game plan, on top of game plan, on top of game plan.
I'm a history guy. I love history. Like if you're going to talk about today's Seahawks, make sure that you talk about yesterday's Seahawks. Here's a question for those listening. I love trivia questions. How many yards receiving did Golden Tate have in his first game? How many do you think he had as a Seahawk? First game.
I'm going to say 0.
Okay. What do you got?
I'm going to guess it was like a catch for 6 yards.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
He didn't dress.
Oh, okay. So it was 0, but he didn't even play. The answer was he didn't play. He didn't even dress.
But does it matter?
No.
Jackson Smith-Njigba is in week 7 of maybe a 10-plus year career.
Yeah.
So and by the way, the reason why I am doing this, I'm doing this so people can really just have an understanding of the career path of an NFL player. Some start fast, some start slow. The bottom line is to sustain, right? You want to continue to get better as a pro. Tyler Lockett getting better as a pro. Geno Smith getting better as a pro. Everyone has their different lanes that they jump in to get there. So I just really wanted to help people out with that perspective on an NFL player's journey.
Yeah, and I've never even thought of this until you just said it now. And just looking at the wide receivers we've had during the time Pete Carroll has been here in Seattle. Like you said, Golden Tate started off slow, got better. Tyler Lockett started off slow, got better. DK started off slow, got better. It seems like a pretty big trend here that it takes a while for these wide receivers to develop, especially in this organization. But I've never actually thought of it that way, because a lot of us probably expected JSN, with all the preseason hype and the amount of coverage he got, and the excitement to come in and be Justin Jefferson week one. And he doesn't even look like Justin Jefferson or play like Justin Jefferson.
Is Jackson Smith-Njigba, is he wide receiver 1?
No.
Is he wide receiver 2?
No.
Negative.
So he's wide receiver 3. So I'm trying to understand where this huge, crazy expectation where he's supposed to, what, you're not supposed to look for DK? You're not supposed to look for Tyler? Come on.
Yeah, like, I think a big part of what you're just saying right there is, like, with a lot of these guys that have taken a while, the Seahawks haven't had, like, the Seahawks haven't drafted outside of this year from the Broncos. They haven't drafted in the top 5 in 20, 30 years. They're never a bad enough team where they draft a guy and they're just going to use him for reps and the season doesn't matter. They haven't been that bad in
a while,
in a long time. So these guys come in and they actually have to be on a team that they have to fit in. And like you said, care about the wins and not just about their stats. It's not just about get this rookie going.
Who was our last top 5 pick before? Was it Okun or was it Aaron Curry? Like, you probably know.
AC.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I can't forget, what year was that? 2011?
AC?
Yeah.
2009.
9. Wow. So it was 11, 13, 14 years without picking in the top 5.
Yeah. Except for when it went from our pick. Yeah. We did get that nice pick this year, Devin Witherspoon. He is a rookie, though, that I mean, from Devin Witherspoon, that's something I did want to mention, too, is this has been the first week we had a lot of Jalen Carter talk on Twitter. Like, I can't believe we didn't take Jalen Carter when Devin Witherspoon wasn't
I was
playing.
one of them. I'll admit it.
We all say dumb things. And now you see Devin Witherspoon, and you understand why he's the 5th pick. That guy is something else.
He's great.
So, again, right? It's all about timing. It's all, you know what I mean? Right? Because, again, there was a Seahawks Twitter. There was a lot of y'all. Jalen Carter, all Jalen Carters. I ain't heard y'all mention that name in a minute. You know what I mean? So sometimes these players is like that boyfriend that's just getting on his feet. Maybe his money ain't right now, and maybe he's an intern at Microsoft, and he's working hard every single day. Don't leave him yet, baby, because they're going to start making that money, and then if you leave him, somebody else is going to get that, get that gravy train. You know what I mean? So, but again, emotions is great, man. Look, that's the beauty about sport. Don't you guys love, like, nobody's right all the time.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nobody's right. We all make mistakes. The Jets make mistakes every single year. The San Francisco 49ers drafted Trey Lance. Where's Trey at today? Everybody makes mistakes with this stuff, man. You never know. That's what makes sports fun.
Yeah, and the great part of it, like, sometimes, I dabble in on a little bit of politics, not talking about them, but I go read about them on Twitter. That stuff's serious, man. People, I mean, you're talking about life and death. We're talking about sports. We're talking about wins and losses, and at the end of the day, everyone gets in their car and goes home. So it's all good.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
It's as I always say, it's the best reality TV show ever, right? It's the only one that you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows the outcome. It's the only live event in the world that nobody in the world knows what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. And that's what makes it beautiful. I have a question for you. So I know you're a sports dad, right?
Yeah.
So your son plays at Ohio State, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
How do you, now when we talk about emotions and watching players play, is there a difference when it comes to your son? Like, how do you feel about watching your son's teams play? Is the emotion? I'm guessing it's heightened, but, like, how does it feel?
Okay, you got kids?
No, not yet. I'm getting married next year. Maybe in a year or two.
Okay, all right. So people that are watching this that have kids, it doesn't matter if it's sports. It doesn't matter if it's an art project. It doesn't matter if it is anything. How we see our children, right? That's a love, man, that can never really be explained. And for the parents that are watching this, you know what I'm talking about. Now, as a father to my son who plays for the Buckeyes, right? First of all, it's a beautiful thing, man, and it's beautiful because only 1% of high school kids get an opportunity to go and play college football, get their education paid for, right? You know, like this summer, my son graduated from The Ohio State University, has a degree, right? Like, what, paid for, done,
Yeah.
no student loans, right? He still has 2 years of eligibility. So, yeah, man, I'm just a proud dad, just like anybody else. Whether you show up to little league games, your soccer games, it's all the same, right? The only thing that's different is you can't like be down on the field and give your little child a snack, but you still with your child that way. You know what I mean? So, no, man, to answer your question, man, I'm a proud dad. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of his the way he has matured, the way he has grown into a man. You know, as he switched positions from wide receiver to tight end, and a lot of times, you know, when people talk to him or talk of him, they say, "Oh man, he's not getting the playing time. Ah man, right?" And people judge sports based on stats. Remember, we talked about this. We talked about this. And with him, in 2021, he makes that jump to tight end. Tight end is a position you gotta block DNs, linebackers, right? You got to be able to still run routes. You got to do all kinds of stuff as a tight end. So it takes a couple years to get there. So last year, he played a total of 121 snaps in 2022. In the last 2 games, he's played a total of 85 snaps. Right?
He's gonna pass that number quickly.
So what I'm saying is that in life is about development. I don't know how many episodes this is for you guys, but I would imagine that you're better than you were on episode 1.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And the hardest thing to do in the world, and by the way, I apologize if it sounds like I'm preaching right now, but
we love
it.
I get into this when it comes to life. Because people, the hardest thing to do, the hardest thing for the two of you to do was to do episode 1, right? Everybody talks about what they're going to do. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, right? Execution is more important than ideas. A lot of people go with ideas, and you want to know where all the ideas are today, all the ideas and dreams, where they land at. A lot of them are in the cemetery right now.
Right.
They're in the cemetery. All these ideas, all these dreams, and very few execute.
Couldn't agree more. And you said the hardest thing to do is episode 1. And if anyone's listening and wants to get into sports podcasting or any type of podcast, episode 1's hard. But you know what's even harder, in my opinion? Once you get to episode 10 weeks in, and your listenership has just grown an inch, and you're like, damn it, how am I going to do? Is episode 11?
Did I keep going?
That's when it gets really hard. But you just grind. You got to, and you keep going. But that to me was harder than episode 1, because episode 1's cute, right? Because there's a lot of excitement. By episode 10, it's a lot of repetition, and you're just like, is what I'm doing even worth it?
Yeah, man.
You just got to keep going. And G, I love the life rants, to be honest, because honestly, it's inspiring. You remind me of you have this persona that reminds me of our dad a little bit. Yeah. Our dad immigrated here from Syria in 1987.
88. I was a year old.
Yeah, so 88. And he came here, with pretty much nothing. And, started by opening a restaurant and was sleeping on the floors of the restaurant, doing all these things. He had a business that worked, and then a business that failed, and another one that worked, another thing that failed. And He really doesn't give a damn. If you ask him right now, he's like, I don't care. He's like, I've lived my life. He's like, if something fails, I'm just going to go do it again, or I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to do the next thing. And I feel like it can work for everybody. It can work when you talk about sports. It can work about humans. It can work about doing a podcast. And I think it's just like it's a great conversation, especially when you hear people that have been through it and they've actually, gone to the other side of like that tough grind. But it always keeps going, and I love those conversations.
Yeah.
Can I
go
ask
ahead, G.
can I ask you on Seahawks Twitter? Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
Who do you have higher expectations for? Other people or yourself?
Here's the thing.
That's a good question.
I would say most people would answer, of course, myself. That's what they would answer. But if they actually went and looked at it and actually thought about it and were being honest, they're holding other people to higher standards than they hold themselves.
Just a question. I wasn't assuming anything. I'm just asking. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Hey, KJ. Yo, I'm finishing these podcasts with the Seattle podcast Sports on Tap. Yeah, I'm just calling you in the middle of it. I mean, answer the phone in the middle of it, rather. I'll call you back in a few minutes. Oh, wait, what you doing with him? Oh, he mad at you? Oh. Shoot. Oh, no, I didn't, bro. Dang it. All right. All right, what's up?
I like the little behind the scenes.
Yeah, that's a little behind the scenes. So, I'm just going to mention it because where we got into this conversation. So we have a second podcast, right? And this podcast is about creating content. Like it's, mostly centered around sports, but our goal with it is to bring in other content creators who are not just in sports. So, and these conversations kind of are the exact conversations we look for in that podcast, where you're talking about life, talking about taking risks, how to get into content creation, and our goal is just to inspire some more people to go do what they want to do. Because so many people, like you said, dreams end up in the cemetery, and that's the scariest thing, man. When you say that and people actually think about that, that's scary. It's scary. You want to go after your dreams. So that conversation is exactly what we're looking for in our other podcast too. So when we hear that, it's pretty cool.
I think it's cool what you guys are doing, man. I think you guys are doing a good job. I've looked at a couple of things, a few of the episodes that you guys have done. What I like is you guys are consistent. You guys are just going at it. You're putting one foot in front of the other. And man, I think that this is good for a lot of the community, a lot of people. And one of the things that I realized, right, just what's going on in society, man. There's a lot of people that, you know what I mean? Some of us don't have that many friends. Some of us don't have that many loved ones. So when you're able to grab onto a community, right, and all have, there's always this division with cultures and backgrounds and religions and politics and all that stuff. But when you have one common goal, and that's a Seahawks organization, and you all can grab onto that and you go back and forth. And man, even though you might be watching the game by yourself physically, you can jump on Twitter and you can be with your people. So that's a beautiful thing. You guys need to keep doing that. Seahawks Twitter, all you guys, man, keep doing that, man. That's the bomb, man. Jumping on there. Just, you might not have anybody sitting with you, but you get on Twitter, man, and you got a family. You feel me?
I love that. I feel that beautiful. Too. It's true. I feel like every day you go on there, you see the same people, and you do feel like you build a community. And I love that. It's all centered around the Seattle Seahawks, which makes it even more fun. We can all be emotional together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We appreciate you, man. I appreciate the kind words too, and we really love having you on. It's your good energy and a good vibe, and I think that goes a long way for a lot of people, even people just listening. Like giving good energy. Not some people don't have good energy around them either. It's good to see.
Yes, sir. You guys got it, man. Appreciate it, and man, you know, in the future, man, we got, you know, don't have me on again, man. I'll come hang out with you guys, man. You guys all right with me, bro? You guys all right?
We
Anytime,
appreciate
man.
that.
You're always welcome.
You're always
All
well.
right,
We'll
brother.
keep in touch and do this again. Yeah, because we really enjoyed it.
All right, man. You guys take care. Blessings, man, to you and your families.
Hey,
You
you
too.
too.